Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Get It, Got It Good, where we get you the information that you need, whether it's in business, whether it's entertainment, learning something new. We make sure you understand where to go to get more of it, and then it's all good. I am your host, Naja Wilhite, here once again on this lovely Wednesday morning. And as you can see, nobody to my left, nobody to my right. I am all by myself again today, which I love to do from time to time. And the reason being is because I like to introduce you all to something new each time I do this and give you some things to think about. And today we actually have a lot for you. So today we're going to spotlight some new artists. Yay! So I love spotlighting new artists, whether it's an actress, whether it's a singer, an author, and a painter, whatever the case may be. And the reason for it is because, as some of you all know, I am about community, and I love giving up-and-coming people a platform, right? So today we have a video for a spotlighted artist that we'll get into later during the show. But we also have a drawer, a painter, an artist, who has a show coming up this Friday night at the Merlin Art Place. So I definitely wanted to spotlight her today because of her pending show this weekend. And if you are local to the DMV, definitely go out there and check out, support, whether it's by your attendance or financially, these artists, because everyone needs, that support. So in the process of talking about these spotlighted artists, I also wanted to delve a little bit into what it means to be an artist. In particular, what it means to be a starving artist. Why that is, how does an artist get out of that situation, some of the barriers that may come to them. And because I am a business girl, I love talking about business and money. What are some of the business aspects that you may need to know or understand in order to get out of that situation? What do you need to know in order to promote yourself? What are some of the business qualities, concepts, mindsets that you need to know in order to get out of that starving artist mentality, if that is what you so choose to do, right? And because we're going to talk about this industry, the entertainment industry, I wanted to talk about something that you all may or may not have heard of before, and that is the hot topic today of blackfishing. Now, keep in mind, we're not going to go very deep into this topic, and I'll tell you why if you stay tuned, because we're going to address it later. But blackfishing is something that's been around for a while, but recently it has been popping up time and time again. And I realize that a lot of people do not know that this exists or may not have never heard the terminology for it. So we definitely will delve into that later today. But let us get started. And the way we're going to get started is by watching this next video, the short clip of this next video about what a starving artist is, so you don't have to hear my voice the whole time, okay? We're going to watch this video. It's from the Audiopedia. And so enjoy this clip, and when we come back, we'll delve right into it.
A starving artist is an artist who sacrifices material well-being in order to focus on their artwork. They typically live on minimum expenses, either for a lack of business or because all their disposable income goes toward art projects. Related terms include starving actor and starving musician. Some starving artists desire mainstream success, but have difficulty due to high barriers to entry in fields such as the visual arts, the film industry, and theater.
So, welcome back. I hope that you now understand what it means to be a starving artist. A lot of you guys already knew what it meant to be a starving artist, but I just wanted to introduce the topic with the definition. So, essentially, what a starving artist is an artist who's trying to break into the industry and suffers from a lack of financial support, finances and money, right? And that could be because either the lack of jobs or because they're putting all of their money into their projects. So let's address this, the lack of jobs. A lot of the times, and I'll use dancers as a reference because that's my world, as we all know. A lot of times you'll have a job and say you get this job, this performance, and they pay you for the performance. You may make a couple $100s for that performance, but that is one check. As we know, our bills are monthly. And so you may have a job in January, then you may have a job in June. So what do you do in between that 6-month period? You have to supplement the income. And a lot of times what artists choose to do to supplement the income is to get part-time jobs, side jobs, or whatever the case may be to support that money or that money flow, right? And then there's the other side of you have a steady stream of income, whether it's because you have a side job already and you decide to put that money into your projects. So why do people do this? And I'm going to address the business side of it a little bit. People do this, say for example, as a hip hop artist, they may have a side job, but in order to record that album, they need that studio time. And in order to get that studio time, you got to pay for it. So that is an example of putting your money into your projects. Now, why would you do that? Because you have this belief that you can make it. You just have to have somebody to hear what you got. And so you put this money into the studio time, you create this album, and then you go and market that album with the idea that you will get a return on your investment, which is the money that you put into the album. Otherwise, what's the point of creating it? So a lot of artists will do this. They'll buy the supplies, they'll rent the studio space, and that keeps them financially strapped, as you can say, right? And so that's another example. Now, a lot of people go, well, why would you choose to be a starving artist? Because you have a dream. And in life, without a dream, what's the point? What's your purpose, right? And so you have a dream and you believe that if you just put in enough time and effort that you will eventually succeed into whatever your goals are, whether it's breaking into the industry, selling a major line of work, whatever the case may be. And so that is why you put your money into these different projects. Now, don't be fooled though, because some artists choose to stay struggling artists to keep their lifestyle in this type of situation. And they believe that it is their muse. It is why they're created. And is also believed that if they take money for it, then it lessens their project or whatever. And some people, they're rightfully so. Some people are not. It just depends on your choice. We're not going to debate that today. Just know that some people do choose to forego monetary benefits for whatever reason, their personal beliefs. So then let's say, for example, you need the money. You want the money, right? And you want to be an artist. So then people would come up to me and say, well, Naja, there are so many barriers. How do I do this? How do I do that? I'm just this little person from this little place, from this little town in the middle of nowhere. Well, you guys, if you have been paying attention and watching the shows, all I have on here are examples of how people went from this little place, this little known name, which is their government given name, and created a name for themselves, right? So, for example, go back and watch these shows because they give you some nuggets. I've had Tyler J on here, who is an actress, and congratulations because she just got casted in a new and up-and-coming movie. So watch out in January because I'm going to have a few of them on the show, okay? And then we have Commacel. Commacel was on the show a couple of months back, and he is an artist. Now, he has just been nominated by the Titan Awards as the Painter Artist of the Year. So congratulations, Commacel. Not to mention, he's about to open up a new facility. So I'm very happy for you and proud of you. Shout out Commacel. We've also had Kashana Howland on here, who is a published artist. We've had Tony Hatton on here, who's a public artist. She also will help you become an attractive thinker. So shout out to them. Kojo. What's up, Kojo? Kojo is another rap artist who we had on here, Mr. Annapolis. He is selling out shows. He just sold out a show, and December the 7th, I believe it was. So he's on tour, selling out shows, doing great things. And he's from Annapolis. He's not from LA. He's not from New York. He's from right here in the DMV area. So it's definitely possible. We've had Dr. Scott Glenn, the creator of Heroes from Heaven, which was a book that he wrote and now is being turned into a movie. Coming up, we're having Gerald Hoover, who is the publisher of the Heroes book series that is becoming a school curriculum because it talks about anti-bullying, it talks about self-love, motivation, peer pressure. It talks about all these things that we have in our society that affects our youth. And so it addresses that. And so he was invited into PG County schools right here and other places as well, but I'm shouting out PG County, to create a curriculum for the school systems. Congratulations for that. Now, here is the first spotlight artist today who is also overcoming some of these boundaries, who's right here in the Baltimore area, who has been invited, as I told you, to display her artwork this Friday. Now, if you want to go and support, let me just give you a little information again. It is called the Merlin Art Place. So definitely log on to their website, get the information, buy tickets, go and support. But if you see her painting, her image, her drawing is going to pop up next to me. And as you can see, it is a great painting, it's a great image. It is part of a series. Now, the way that I found this spotlight artist is literally, you guys, I was surfing IG, Instagram, and the reason why I do this is because I am looking for new, fresh talent, new, fresh faces, new, fresh artists, new, fresh businesses, even young businesses, entrepreneurs, to spotlight and give them a boost and do my way in a part, right? And so this is one of the spotlight artists. You can find her on IG. Let's see what her IG is. It is, and I'll tell it to you. Well, you know what? I actually do not feel like looking for it. I'll come back to that. However, you could find it as Leno Wells Wilson. That is the IG, okay? So you will find a link to that on my personal IG page, Get It Got It Good G3. You can also find a link to that on our Facebook fan page. But this young lady is overcoming all types of obstacles, getting her name out there, putting her money back in her project, which we've already discussed, and promoting it. So why would an artist need to know anything about business? We've already addressed it a little bit, right? If you are an artist, you are your product, you are your business. Therefore, you must promote yourself, right? And in order to promote yourself and to market yourself, you got to know a little bit about how to do that. One way you can learn about doing it is to network. Find the people around you that you can connect with that may be able to pour into you, that you can ask questions and find out information on how do I market myself? How do I reach my audience? How do I get up there and get in front of the people I need to pitch my product to? How do I go on interviews? So what are some of the things that you should think about as an artist if you want to move from starving artist to paid artist, which I hope is your wish, if that is so what you desire? Well, the first thing you should think about is branding, right? What is your brand? What do you want to convey to your audience? Do you exude confidence and wealth? Do you exude, community, love, friendship? What is it that you want to convey? When somebody look at you and your product and your artistry and your craft or whatever the case may be, what do you want it to say about you? And that highly depends on who you're marketing to. What is your audience? Who is your audience? How much money do they make? Where do they live? What age category do they fall in? What are some of their hobbies? What do they like to do? What do they like to eat? What colors are their favorite? What appeals to them the most? Because you have to match your brand and your audience, therefore getting to the right segment and promoting yourself and getting your name out there. Because what happens a lot of times is the two don't match. If you are exuding this class and this wealth, right, as your brand, this style, this money magnet type of brand, right? And yet you're promoting to a class or a demographic that don't even have access to those stores, that don't even have access to those movies, that don't even have access to the money that it would take to buy a Corvette, right? So if I'm a luxury car, I'm not going to promote to people who make $30,000 a year, because the car itself starts off at $100,000 a year. You understand what I'm saying? So who is your audience? And once you know who your audience is, then you have to work on your mindset. Now, Tony addressed this when she was here about the mindset, the mental picture. So definitely go back and watch that show. But Denaria McCants also addressed the mindset that it takes in order to get from point A to point B. So if you want to go more deeply into mindsets, definitely watch those previous shows. But in a nutshell, in order to get to those mindsets, you have to believe in what you're doing. You have to believe in yourself. And the way to get there is to feed your mind with positivity. So we are bombarded with negativity all day, every day, right? Whether we're talking to our friends and family, whether they are ill-intentioned or not. A lot of times our friends and family mean the best. They just, give you that negativity. The shows we watch, the news programmings, the dramas, they can feed your mind with negativity. The radios, the stations that you listen to. So definitely you got to feed your mind with positivities. Read some books, listen to some audio CDs. Stay around positive people who believe in you, who can feed you that encouragement that you need when you're going through this growth period. And then you can bring down these barriers when you're putting your money in the right place, when you're promoting yourself. So definitely that business savvy. Now, everybody's not business savvy. That's why I'm going to reiterate again, the network. Surround yourself with those positive people and people who know more than you. It's okay. It's great to be around people who know more than you, because then they can feed into you, help you, pull you up. And there are great people out there who will definitely do that. Okay? So, with that being said, I wanted to go back and spell out the IG account to make sure that you can definitely go to this young lady's page, like it, find out the information to go and visit her this Friday night in Baltimore. It is at Leeno, well, W-E-L-L, Wilson, W-I-L-S-O-N. So definitely go to her page and like it. Now, our next artist spotlight is a video, and let me tell you why I picked this one. There are several reasons, okay? This young man is one of the pillars of his family, right? He is driven, and he comes up with creative ideas to make it happen for himself, his family, his friends, and he is open-minded, and he's going to go well. He's going to go far. He's going to do well, and I'm very proud of this individual, and I hope that you enjoy his video. His name is Topic Q, and the video is called Drummer Boy. Definitely enjoy this video, and then when we come back, we are going to address, finally, because I know you guys have been waiting for it, blackfishing, what it is, what it means, and who cares anyway, right? Here we go. Watch this video, enjoy, and then we'll be back.
Tundra with a scorching heart, wrapped in chains, held together so he'll never fall apart. Mother bore the pain as she told the boy to play his part. I was born a stain, devil said I was a work of art. God give me brains as he claims I have an open heart. Never stay the same, my thoughts apart for those who've seen the dark. I just need a flame to light the way while we fucking smart. My fam thinks I'm insane for this suit, you could call me Clark. Diamonds on my neck drip down like drool, my nickname Elmer, she stay glued. If you need soul, then we'll trade shoes. Walk along the path you choose, make my art for you my muse. Like the dream team, never lose. My thoughts are off, I'll see you soon. A walking burden in the room. Shawty chic without high rule, a local princess in that pool. I'm diving in until we swoon. In the shining sun and reflecting moon, she copies everything I do, gravitating into you. Gravitating into you. The moment I saw my soul, I'm praying that no one knows. Can't touch what he can't control. Anxiety overflows. Finding her heart for gold. And wait up, I'm coming home. Not worth it, I'll die alone. Not worth it, I'll die alone. The moment I sell my soul, I'm praying that no one knows.
Welcome back. I hope truly that you've enjoyed that video that you just watched, as I did. But you know, that is our spotlight artist. If you want to find more Topic Q, you can find him on YouTube, Twitter, several other places. Definitely, it's Lost Topic Q. Okay. So the topic that you've all been waiting for: blackfishing. What is blackfishing? Well, simply put, blackfishing is when white women change their color, change their hair, change their whole mannerism. It's like an alternate ego or something. Take pictures and pretend to be black, simply put. So is it like blackface? It depends on who you ask. So blackface traditionally was when a white actor painted their face and then went on stage to mock a black individual, to make fun of, to pretend to be that black individual, right? I believe that blackfishing is not intentionally meant to be mocking, but more so these women wanting to be or profit from being that of an African American woman or of a different ethnicity. Why? There's several reasons, several theories. Maybe they want to be like us, maybe they think our features are beautiful, which they are, or maybe it's just about the money. But I definitely want to delve deeper into this issue. It is definitely deeper than the surface level, you guys. And what I'm doing right now is putting together a round table of professionals, whether they are, you know, professors, historians, business people, entertainers, you know, people from all walks of life, to come in and address this issue, because this is a deep issue that's going to take a long time to address. It goes into cultural perspectives, self-beliefs, historical issues, and how we got to where we are currently and where we are going in the future and what it all means, okay? So just on the surface level today, you now know what blackfishing is, okay? Now, I was listening the other day to someone else's post about this very topic. And then I was going and doing my research like I always do. And I listened to somebody else telling us about why we protested as African Americans traditionally. Why do we go into restaurants and do sit-ins, right? We went to these restaurants to do sit-ins because we were looking for acceptance and identity, according to this post. Now, in that plight to look for acceptance, have we lost some of our identity? Because in order for an African American woman to get jobs, get hired, especially in the entertainment industry, traditionally, we've had to change some of our Afrocentric features, broader noses, thicker bodies, things of that nature, straighten our hair. And so in a plight for acceptance, have we lost who we are? We lighten our skin, we change our hair. And so a lot of the argument sometimes comes back to that perspective. Well, if black women had to lighten their skin and do these things, why is it different when a white woman goes and turns herself black, goes and gets these tans, goes and gets these surgeries to make their noses broader, to make their bodies more curvaceous? Well, the difference is, think about this. As a black woman going into the industry, getting a job, being accepted, all the way back to slavery days, if you were a mulatto, a red bone, a high yellow, whatever you want to call it. Some terms are offensive, some are not, depending on your region. I'm not here to offend anybody. It is what it is. But if you could pass for white, that was a form of survival. Now, what happened when the white man discovered that his wife was a black woman in reality? Oh, she was lynched. She was killed, right? So then you fast forward. Now you have us African American women breaking into the industry, getting movie roles, magazine covers. But what is going on with that? So if you are an aspiring actress and you go for these roles, they say your nose is too broad. You would make it, but this is quite not right. Your hair is not right. Do something with your hair. Make your nose skinnier, whatever the case may be. Your lips are too big, right? Then you have these women changing their features in order to get these roles. And that was a monetary gain. So we've had to do these things in order to be accepted and to assimilate at the cost of identity. Now you have these white women who is pretending to be black because now as black women we have discovered that we are beautiful in and of ourselves, and we are embracing our own differences, our own voluptuousness, our own kinky or curly hair, our own melatonin skin color. And so as you accept yourself, other people then look at you and accept you as well, or want to be like you, or want to have what you have. And so now you have these women who's chasing this Kardashian-like dream of becoming famous. And a lot of times these women cannot make it as themselves. So they create this identity and they create this imagery and then they put it out there and it sells. And then they start to get all these followers. And what happens is they look up and they're being posted on these websites saying some of the most beautiful black women, and there's their face and they're not black. So it's not for the lack of having a platform, because we all know white women already had the platform, right? So it's not for that. Now you're just doing it and it's a deception element to it. So that's one of the arguments that is posted, one of the outrages why these women are doing it, right? So I'm just here to tell you, just to put it out there, what is going to happen in some people's beliefs is that now that white women can be exchanged for these black women, now they can have 2 in 1. All you got to do is paint them darker. They can play 2 roles. They can. Why go and find a real chocolate lady when you can find a pretend chocolate lady and pay them? So it's starting to take away from our money, our gains, and then you can hire. Angelina Jolie played an ethnic lady in a role. Why not just find the ethnic lady to play that role? So these are some of the concerns that is being brought up in the African American community. And a lot of times people go, oh, Naja, it's not that deep. It's not that problem. Who cares? Why can't they just be genetic, whatever the case may be? Because you can't. You were born white, you were born black, but then the argument goes, you were born male, you were born female, but that can be switched out. So there's a lot of different arguments. There's a lot of different levels that I will definitely address in further detail when we get into the round table with all of the different perspectives, all of the different historical content, all of the different examples. And I know for this show today, personally, I chose not to display any of the women images for 2 reasons. One is because if they are truly DNA, that 1 drop rule, and because I know I have some high yellow children, and in the winter they're lights, and in the summer they're dark, and so in the winter they're thought to be one race, and in the summer they're thought to be another race. If that is the case, which I'm not saying it is, but if that is the case, I don't want to put anybody's image wrongly out there. And then there's the bigger image of the ones who are definitely blackfishing and profiting off of it. And I definitely don't want to help promote that. I don't want to help promote somebody else who's doing something deceitful, okay? So I chose personally not to place those images out there, but you can definitely find them on your own and see for yourself the before, the after. There's a ton of information out there to look at, and it is disturbing a lot of times. And you'll see the trend is gearing toward where they're just going to these women. They're already popular. Let's go get them. They're already popular. Let's give them free stuff so they can market it for us, instead of going to go find somebody who is truly who they say they are. But it's a money game. It's back to that Wealth in America. And you have to go back and watch that episode that I did on Wealth in America and how the platform is where the majority is still Caucasian when it comes to the wealth. And so, you know, you go into that whole aspect, which I won't repeat today. Definitely go back and look at that episode. But with that being said, you guys, I love that you've been here. I hope that you've learned something new today. I definitely want to re-shout out all of my pop-up or spotlight artists, Tapaku and Leo Wilson. Definitely thank you. I will tag you in the post as well, so that way you guys can find these two artists and to further look at their information. I know they are both selling things, whether it's beats, paintings, whatever the case may be. I want to also thank my sponsors once again, which is McKeek Senior Home, Pearls of Wisdom, thank you very much, Dance Solutions Youth Outreach, Mission Dance Works, definitely cannot forget you. Mission Dance Works this Saturday has a Nutcracker performance at Sudbrook Magnet Middle School in Baltimore County. So definitely check that out. Go to their website, support the girls and the youth there, the dancers there, to see them. They also have a show coming up with the Harlem Globetrotters. They're going to be performing for the halftime show with a few other organizations, but definitely go and support that as well. But as always, I thank you all for being here today on this lovely Wednesday. Next week, we have another fabulous guest coming up for you, so stay tuned. Watch for the promotions on that you will find on IG, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. But I love that you've been here, and as always, be an original instead of a copy, because an original is always worth more than a copy. Have a great day, you guys.